We are just 2 days away from Decision Day as Ontarians head to the polls. It's crunch time for leaders to make that final pitch to you. We've reached out to every provincial leader and invited them to join us to talk about their campaign and their plan for the province. Now, so far, only Liberal leader Bonnie Crombie has joined us, but today we are joined by the leader of the Green Party, Mike Shreiner. It's great to finally meet you.
Hey, Sarah, it's a pleasure to join you today.
You have become somewhat of a familiar face to our viewers. You spent a lot of time in the Parry Sound-Muskoka riding. What has been the reason why you've spent so much time up there, and do you think that that's a riding that might be one that you can win?
Absolutely. I mean, we're excited about the momentum we have in Parry Sound-Muskoka. Matt Richter almost won in the last election there. We think we're going to get him across the finish line this time. And what I'm hearing from folks knocking on doors, they are sick and tired of Doug Ford's government wasting money on the GTA, things like the $2.2 billion spa in downtown Toronto, or $100 billion building this ridiculous tunnel under Highway 401, or $10 to $12 billion on Highway 413. When people in rural ridings like Parry Sound-Muskoka, they're struggling to be able to afford a home, find a doctor, keep their hospitals open, keep their schools open, keep their roads and bridges open. Meanwhile, this premier is wasting billions on Toronto, on things that people in Toronto don't even want. That is wrong, and we need local champions like Matt Richter to go down to Queen's Park and be the voice of their riding.
Have people been pretty passionate, especially in that region?
Yeah, I was just at a meeting last night where people are worried about a local school being closed. And they're saying, where are our kids going to go? They're going to have to be bused into education. Why is Doug Ford wasting so much money in downtown Toronto when we're struggling to keep our schools open? Earlier today, did an event with a number of doctors saying 20,000 people in Parry Sound-Muskoka don't have a doctor. 2.5 million people around Ontario don't have access to a family doctor. Why is Doug Ford wasting billions on a tunnel when we need health care, housing, and education?
Let's expand on that. How do you think that your party would be able to address healthcare issues? Because on every level of government, this has been a major, major problem.
Well, first of all, we're the first party to put out a fully costed platform and a detailed costed platform, unlike the other parties. We're going to be honest with you about how we're going to pay for increases in healthcare. We're going to say no $2.2 billion to the mega spa. We're not going to waste $100 billion on a tunnel. We're going to stop subsidizing electricity prices for the rich, and we're going to redirect that money into healthcare. So you have a family doctor or a nurse practitioner, so that your hospitals aren't closing. We're going to redirect it so we actually start building homes that you can afford in the communities you know and love, so you don't have long, expensive commutes. And we're going to ensure that your children are learning in classrooms that are not overcrowded by reversing Doug Ford's $1,500 per student cut to education.
There's a lot to look forward to and a lot to be addressed. Another, education. I mean, you mentioned this right across the country. Even here today, Georgian College announcing some pretty substantial, significant cuts, not only now, but looking to the future. So what plans do you have in place to keep that Ontario pipeline of talent going?
Yeah, I tell you what, our post-secondary education, colleges and universities, is in dire crisis because of the cuts of the Ford government. We are last in Canada in per capita funding for post-secondary education. It would take a $5 billion investment just to get us to the provincial average. This threatens our economy, and it threatens the future of young people. That's why the Ontario Greens, the only party that is calling for a base budget increase to close that gap to get us to the provincial average, because we know how vital it is for our economic competitiveness and to ensure that our students receive the quality education they deserve.
We were looking at advanced polling numbers. Only about 6% of eligible Canadians made it out over that 3-day span. What would you say to people that are on the fence, perhaps those that maybe haven't voted or are on the fence? What message would you have for them tonight?
I'd say get out and vote. We need a premier in this province that's not going to lie to people about opening the Greenbelt up for development, which has led to the RCMP investigation into the $8.3 billion Greenbelt scandal. We need a premier who's going to fix the housing crisis. Every housing expert says the Ontario Greens have the best plan to do that. We need a premier who's going to fix healthcare and invest in education, protect the people and places we love in this province. Get out and vote, because ask yourself, 7 years of Doug Ford, is your life any more affordable? Most people would say no.
Okay. Mr. Shreiner, Mike, we will leave it there for today, but certainly appreciate you taking the time to come and speak with us and our viewers.
Hey, my pleasure, anytime.
We have been speaking with the leader of the Green Party, Mike Shreiner. There's a CTV Barrie website if you'd like to revisit this conversation in full, ctvnews.ca/Barrie.